Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal, they're talking about movies. And you know they are really groovy. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal, they're talking about movies. And we know they are really groovy.
Hello, hello.
Rory, you're not on mute, but we cannot hear you, Rory, and we heard you before we went on. Rory, I can hear you.
I thought I'd lost my hearing.
Yeah, I feel like he's punking us or something. Rory, we cannot hear you.
A very special episode of
where we will do interpretive dance instead of mime stuck in a box. Mime stuck in a Rory, we cannot. I have a feeling.
Can't hear you, Rory.
No, the more you're doing this, but we cannot hear you at all. Yeah, we cannot hear. So then he's gonna go out and come back in. I love that. Yeah, I thought for a minute it was just my hearing was going. I'm like, I know my hering's not as great as it used to be. Yeah, then I look at Manny, and Manny's like, no, I can't hear it either. I love it. While he is waiting and coming back in, Manny, why don't you do an introduction? You were the creator of this show. You want to talk about the impetus of how you came up with this idea for two guys talking about movies?
Sure. The impetus was wait, what does impetus mean? No.
It's not what you think it means. It's not a dirty word. It's not a dirty word. It's okay. You can say it.
No, I'm kidding. I wanted to do a show with you and Rory because I was a huge fan of, or am a huge fan of.
That's all changed now. Once you started working on this, you're like, I'm out of here.
No, I love Big Monster Briefing Room, and all these other shows on Cosmos. And I thought, man, how can I get in on this? How can I get in on the action? And I love movies, and I love talking about movies. And I know Rory does, and I know you do. And I thought, oh my gosh, there's so many countdown shows on the YouTubes. I thought, well, that we can do one of those. And I thought, just keep it simple. We'll do the top 5, our top 5 favorite. Because I was thinking of doing top 10, but then I thought, if the bottom 5 were any good, they'd be the top 5. So I just thought, no, we'll do the top 5. And so the first show that we did, we discussed Steve Martin movies, and tonight we'll be talking about Mel. I keep wanting to say Mel Gibson.
Me too.
Mel Brooks. Yes, Mel Brooks. Who is something completely different from Mel Gibson. So we're going to do Mel Brooks movies, and hopefully our partner in crime will be able to come in here in a minute.
Here he is. He's here. Hopefully he can hear us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Wait.
Oh, stop it.
Almost got you. Almost. I ruined it.
I thought you were doing that the first time.
No.
Anyway, we were supposed to do the show at 6:00, and this is what I was explaining when you guys were.
Okay.
And that didn't happen. So we decided to go now, and guest calls me at 10:00 right as we're going on the show. My wife from China.
Well, you have to take the call.
Wait, we're doing a live show. I'll call her later. So.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for being here with us then.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Let's get started, guys.
All right.
So tonight we're talking about Mel Brooks movies.
Mel Brooks, not Mel Gibson.
Not Mel Gibson. Again, two totally different ends of the spectrum.
Yes, very, very much so. Yeah. So.
One doesn't like Jews, and the other one is a Jew. Thank you, folks.
So, reminds me of a terrible joke about Pearl Bailey. You know, once every December she winds up bombing herself. It's a terrible
Pearl Bailey now.
Yeah. Anyway,
so yeah, he started out doing comedy with Carl Reiner, the 2,000-year-old man, and he went on to write for TV shows, and eventually started writing his own movie scripts and shopping them around Hollywood. And eventually, he hit with a movie called The Producers. Now, we're supposed to do a top 5 list. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm guessing The Producers is on both of our lists.
I suspect most of these movies are both of our lists. It's because it's a pretty short list of movies that.
I'm going to guess that 4 out of 5 on our list are on the same list, but there might be a wild card. There's
always a wild card, and that's what makes it so fun. Is the wild cards, the crazy ones.
So we do agree that The Producers, which was critically panned at the time.
Yeah,
was a great movie by Mel Brooks.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely my number one on my list is The Producers.
It's number one on my list because of the date that it was. I'm doing them in order of the date they were produced.
Oh,
they were made.
You went. Oh, well. How very clever of you, Mr. Bond.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So The Producers starred Zero Mostel, Gene Wilder, Dick Shawn, as we saw on the card there. Also Kenneth Moore as the crazy Nazi. For those of you who haven't seen it, Producers is about a theater producer played by Zero Mostel, who he's a sleaze. He's just a sleaze. And
it's Kenneth Mars, right?
Yeah, Kenneth Mars.
Yes, it's Kenneth Mars, right?
Yes, Kenneth Mars.
The German author.
Yes, exactly.
And this was actually remade with Nathan Lane.
Matthew Broderick, Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman does the receptionist.
The receptionist, yeah.
Bloom, good double day.
But yeah, I like the musical. I of course, mainly because Uma Thurman's in it. But I like the musical, but it doesn't have the edginess that the original movie has. Which it's zany, it's crazy, it's funny, but there's an edginess to it that the musical just didn't capture.
Lee Meredith was Ula in the first one. Some other surprises. Is he here? The drunk that's in the bar with them during the production is actually William Hickey, who was a Juilliard professor. He's done a zillion character roles in different movies.
Yeah, he's got that kind of voice.
He's in Pritzi's on.
He's the father in the movie Mouse Hunt. He's the Frankenstein doctor kind of guy in Nightmare Before Christmas.
He's got that kind of voice. So he's also in Little Big Man as the interviewer with Dustin Hoffman with the recorder.
Turn that thing off. Turn that thing on.
Forgot about that. Yeah, that's right.
Hoffman actually yelled and screamed at the top of his lungs for like an hour to get his voice raspy like that for the old man part.
Oh,
there's actually footage of him. I've seen it where he's just running back and forth in a room yelling in the old man makeup. make his voice all raspy. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
Estelle Winwood is in the beginning of the film. As one of the women that they take money from.
Yeah.
Or that Mr. Bialystok takes money from.
Yeah. He seduces the little old ladies, and or just women in general, but mostly little old ladies that he knows have money to fund his programs, his plays.
Mm-hmm.
But then he finds out from Gene Wilder, who's his accountant, Mr. Bloom, that that he can make more money with a flop than he can with a hit, and so he sets out to produce the most offensive play he could come up with. That's supposed to be a guaranteed flop, which is, of course, Springtime for Hitler.
Springtime for Hitler is what we find, yes.
Yeah, and he hires a writer, played by Kenneth Mars, who's a Nazi. He's a Nazi.
Yes. Waiting for the return of the glory of the fatherland.
Yes. And just to add just a little bit more offensiveness, he hired the biggest actor that he could find in Dick Shawn, played by Dick Shawn, to play Hitler, which offends the Nazi for sure,
and the
director.
This is baby.
And yeah, it's a great movie. It's very very fun.
It turns out to be a comedy. Inadvertently, it turns out to be a comedy and a hit.
Exactly.
And they're all going to go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a happy ending, but
it's well, and again, in jail they're doing the same thing. They're happy. I mean, they look like they're happy in jail doing the same thing. Anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, the critics panned it, and it turned out, winning all kinds of awards and accolades and things for being very original and a different kind of comedy. It's Brooks kind of changed the way comedy happened with this.
Right.
Again, people were not afraid to push the envelope a little further after this movie came out. And the big takeaway from the movie, or the big find, was Gene Wilder.
Mm-hmm. Right,
was phenomenal. When they were filming Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in '70, they wanted to find somebody who was unknown, basically an unknown, but who was just awesome, So I guess they saw him in this, and they said, he's our guy. He's not well enough known yet, but he's really good. So, that of course stuck with Wilder for the rest of his life. Kids were stopping him on the street when he was very old. Yeah,
but he brought the appropriate amount of warmth and creepiness to the role of Willy Wonka.
Creepiness is definitely a part of it.
Yeah. And I was going to compare it to the Tim Burton version, but I was like, nah.
No. Apples and oranges, different.
Very different.
The creepiness is there.
Well, Burton's version, I mean, to give, I guess, credit where credit is due, they did at least try to make it more faithful to Roald Dahl's original book, but a lot of the charm's missing from it that Wilder and that version brought to it. So
yeah, there is a lack of charm there with the Burton version.
Yeah,
I am a huge Tim Burton fan.
Oh yeah, me too. But he misses.
You don't try to improve upon something that's as good as that.
Exactly, and no one will ever be able to sing the rowboat song or the steamboat song as creepy. And the rowers keep on rowing. I mean, there's no knowing where we're going. Okay.
And the other parents are trying to sing along, but they're scared shitless.
Exactly.
And we don't know where we're going. Anyway, I'm guessing our next number 2 on our list, both of our lists, we skip a movie and move right on up to Blazing Saddles?
No,
Ah,
because I didn't go by date. No, my next one is, I'm sure it's on your list too. It's High Anxiety,
oh, okay, all right.
which is the great spoof that that Brooks did of just a ton of Alfred Hitchcock movies. I mean, you name a Hitchcock movie, it's in this. It's in this one. The Birds,
this was
obviously.
his stand-up in
Vertigo,
Yes.
you know, and that's the thing about Brooks is he really, before Airplane and before the Scary Movie franchise, before all those movies, he was doing these great movie parodies that really, really, if you were a fan of the originals and you saw Brooks's versions of it or his parodies of it, you know, you had to laugh. So you recognized the moments, like, oh yeah, like the bird attack, you know, except it's pigeons, and the shower scene and all those things. Okay, and again, for those of you who don't know, Mel Brooks plays a psychiatrist at this mental hospital who has high anxiety. He's fear of heights, and you got Cloris Leachman, who plays a nurse, and Harvey Korman is in it. Yes.
Again, from Blazing Saddles, we have Harvey Korman, who's a favorite. We have Cloris Leachman from Young Frankenstein, is again a favorite. They work with Madeline Kahn. It was returns.
Ron, who's the little guy? Ron
Carey?
Yeah.
Ron Carey, little guy.
Ron Carey, yeah.
He's in
He
Silent
shows up in
Movie.
a lot of his movies. So, yeah. And another, just like I said, another great Brooks movie, great parody of Alfred Hitchcock.
Just Nurse Diesel alone.
Nurse Diesel alone.
It's worth the price of admission. She's great.
Yes.
Those who do not come to dinner on time will not receive the fruit cup.
Which, although it's not a Hitchcock movie, I mean, it's obviously, you know, they're basing that on Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. At least that's what I think. I always thought that. Just the overall demeanor, but yeah.
She's still a very Hitchcockian kind of character.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, High Anxiety is great. Rudy DeLuca, who's written a lot of stuff with Brooks, and he's got a small part in a lot of Brooks movies. Plays Braces, the killer in this. His little role is really funny to watch, and yes, I would like to kill him. I would really enjoy that very much. He's always breathing heavy and
right, yeah.
But he was also Vinny, the robot bodyguard for Pizza the Hut in Spaceballs. He was the captain of the guard in the Chariot that gets hit with the pot smoke and he gets all stoned in History World Part 1. Hey, it's cool, man. That's Rudy DeLuca.
Yeah.
He even plays a very small part in Dracula Dead and Loving It, where he's under the door. He's screaming that he wants to get out under the door in the sanitarium, and it turns out that he's one of the patients. He's not one of the patients. He's one of the orderlies there. He's like, "Get back to work." Yeah. I think it's Harvey Korman said, "Get back to work."
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, he's always there somewhere. And yeah, just a really fun movie all the way around.
Yeah. And, you know, it's funny because there's a lot of directors that cast the same people over and over, and Mel Brooks certainly no exception. Like you said, you know, Harvey Korman shows up in a lot of his movies. Cloris Leachman, Madeline Kahn, Gene Wilder, in a couple of movies, or about 3 or 4 of them, and always a great effect. I mean,
again, they had such a good time together with the producers. Yeah, he was the first person that he came to write Young Frankenstein. They wrote that together, by the way.
Right. Yeah.
And Mel Brooks. They
got into a. Well, I'll get to that when we'll get to Young Frankenstein.
I just read a story this week when I was getting ready for this that Gig Young was actually cast as the Waco Kid, and was so drunk that they had to fire him.
Mm-hmm.
And so while there was not the first choice to play the Waco Kid in this,
no,
but of course he nailed it. And but we'll talk more about Blazing Saddles in a bit.
Okay. So what's your next one?
Blazing Saddles.
Oh, great segue.
I told you we were going to talk about it in a bit.
All right.
I've not heard Renee's what she has to say about.
Yes. Where's our gal?
The two previous movies we talked about.
Yes, I did have something to add about the producers, which is that Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David's show, of which I'm a huge fan, dedicated an entire season to doing a sort of alternate universe thing where Mel Brooks is obsessed with the idea of bringing back the theatrical version of it, starring Larry David and David Schwimmer. And hijinks ensue, weird things happen, but it's this thing where Mel Brooks becomes obsessed with him and actually did star, and the whole season leads up to that performance, and they did do that performance in front of a live audience. So that was, if anyone loves the producers and if you love Larry David, it's a whole season dedicated to that. And David Schwimmer, I mean, how cool is that? He plays himself, like kind of a, weird version of himself, just as they do in Curb Your Enthusiasm. So
now, is that the season that our friend Ray Buffer, the actor, is in?
Yes, I think that's the one where they're dancing. Yeah.
Okay.
He's learning all the dance routines, and Larry David has to learn the dance routines, and it starts off with I'm blanking on his name, but he's the son of the guy who played the father in Seinfeld. Oh, I can see
Stiller. Ben Stiller.
Yeah, Stiller starts off, and then Schwimmer is brought in to relieve him after Larry David injures Stiller. It's just a very funny storyline, and I love it.
That's funny. I could see Ben Stiller doing that character.
Yeah. Very funny. Yeah, I love it. And I love Blazing Saddles too, but what I was telling Rory backstage was everybody knows is like nowadays everybody's always so offended by Blazing Saddles. It's one of the movies that they always bring up, they're always so offended by it. So I did want to
wrap up.
I wanted to put that out there that we know that people get, people are not too great at, but everyone loves it, and it's one of these classics that everybody's seen.
Well, all these movies are, they're a product of their time, and
yes.
And the point, they missed the point. They missed the point. People who complain about Blazing Saddles, I think, misses the point that it's actually very much a anti-racism movie.
Right. It's a comedy on racism and how you should deal with it and
how absurd it is and yeah, I get why people are offended because of the use of the N-word, but that's the whole point.
But again, if you're listening to a Richard Pryor album or a Red Fox album and you hear that, it's okay because they're saying it.
Yeah.
They wrote it and they're saying it and they can do that. What people don't know is that Richard Pryor gave a lot to the script of Blazing Saddles. Mel Brooks wanted him to play Sheriff Bart. And the studio to get him to play that part. And unfortunately, the studio wouldn't have it because they thought that Pryor was just too much of a wild card and it couldn't be controlled. Yeah. So unfortunately, we didn't get that. But Cleavon Little does a great job as Sheriff Bart. And he's very likable.
I remember when I saw it, because I remember Cleavon Little he was on a TV show where he played kind of a version of, kind of before Scrubs. It was a medical comedy, and he was a doctor on that show. And then and then I saw him in Blazing Saddles, and I'm like, oh, I know who you are.
Well, he was actually a big Broadway star at the time.
Yeah. So
evidently he auditioned, and the studio execs really liked him. And Brooks liked him, but he really wanted, Richard Pryor.
Right, yeah. Well, yeah, Brooks, he consulted with Pryor. I saw an interview with Mel Brooks, and he said, he was starting to get a little worried, if he was going too far with the language and everything. And so he talked to Rich Pryor about it. Pryor said, "Too far? You haven't gone far enough." And I think he actually maybe added a few in there. I said, no, I see what you're doing, man. No, you keep doing that. This is exactly what this movie needs. Right. So we had Pryor.
Pryor was always pushing boundaries, and Mel Brooks also was pushing these barriers and boundaries. And at the very least, what you can say about a movie like this in 2023 is that it encourages dialogue and conversation, which is always a benefit to everyone. At least it opens up those doors that people can have those conversations.
Yeah. But
the stuff that Burt Gillum does and Slim Pickens does, that seems to offend people the most, when they're talking. But Gillum's still alive today, plays golf. He's like 90 something. He's he still quotes lines from the movie, out there, out and about. Pickens left us a few years back. But again, he was never ashamed of what he did. He was actually pretty proud of it.
Oh yeah.
Because they all knew what they were doing.
Yeah. I mean, it was a parody of Western movies.
Comedy history.
And yeah. I mean, it was funny. Back then, I remember the thing that offended people the most was not the language. It was the campfire scene. It was the fart jokes that got people.
We don't get any fart jokes in movies today.
Yeah. Oh, well, Brooks has just gone way over the top with all that noise. My God.
Fire.
I mean, yeah, they're
you boys need to stop me. Oh, I am depressed.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so I mean, that's just the thing. Times change. What's offensive to one generation is not offensive to the next.
And he can play a werewolf sheriff in The Howling. Come on. It's movies, folks.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just movies.
It's just movies, but
yeah, and it also opens up that it also opens up that question, though, the perennial question about art and comedy in particular. A lot of stand-up comics and a lot of comedians say that to them, it's going outside of that box and stirring up a little bit of controversy is what they find so fulfilling, because it's almost like going back to the court jester. The court jester could get away with anything in front of the king. He could even offend or insult the king, because people had this idea that comedy is always coloring outside the lines. And that's part of the things that, one of the things that makes it so refreshing, and people can go there. I mean, look at Chappelle, Chris Rock's new one, everybody, any Pryor, come on, Carlin. It's just nonstop controversy. And that's what makes us laugh, is when people are offended, even they laugh. It's almost like a strange phenomenon within human beings.
China censors a lot of stuff. That comes to the internet and through TV, and they will not run Saturday Night Live in China because they poke fun at the president and political figures all the time on the show, every show. So they don't like that. They don't like when the people make fun of the leaders. No. So you don't get to watch it.
And you think about in Iran, in Iran, they've executed comedians. A lot of comedians have actually lost their lives, also under the Hitler's regime. Anytime you have a really strict regime, they do go after the performers and they do go after the comedians.
They did that in Afghanistan, a couple of years ago. They rounded up one of the comics that was making fun of the people that took over the Taliban, and he was carted away in a car. They videotaped the entire thing. They slapped him in the car because he was making jokes as they were putting him in the car about them. And then he disappeared. Never heard of again.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to picture that. I'm trying to picture comedians in Afghanistan. Hey, so what's up with this? So what's up with the turbans? I don't understand. What's up with this? What is an Afghani Jerry Seinfeld sound like?
So
anyway,
have you ever noticed the desert sand? What's up with that,
folks?
What's up with all this sand?
What's up with all this sand?
Hey, what's up with these camels, huh? One up or two? I've got to know.
Make up your mind. One hump, two humps.
I think we just wrote a new character. I think an Afghani comedian is a new character.
Oh my gosh!
What's up with all these empty canteens? I mean, seriously, folks. They had a sketch on SNL where they were all doing like Seinfeld.
Yeah, I remember that. That was really funny. It was great. He loved it too.
Tom Hanks was one of the few sketches that what's his name? It did the newspaper. Cha-cha. Yeah. Dennis Miller. That was one of the few sketches that Dennis Miller actually appeared in on the show. And they were out doing, hey, what's with the owls in their clothes, the baskets of clothes?
And Jerry said that's how he knew he had arrived. Jerry said that moment when he saw that is when he knew he was going to be famous. Because he said, I'm in. I'm cool enough to make fun of.
Because they're making fun of me on Saturday Night Live. That makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've kind of strayed far from Mel Brooks here, but
yeah, we do that on this show. We just go off on tangents. Okay, so we talked about Blazing Saddles. We talked about the producers. We talked about High Anxiety. Yeah. Young Frankenstein. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that one's at the top of my list. Was Young Frankenstein.
Same here. Probably the best cast that Brooks ever pulled together.
Yeah.
Marty Feldman, who I always love. Gene Wilder is Dr. Frankenstein. Peter Boyle as the monster.
Yes.
This is the only Mel Brooks film that had Peter Boyle in it, I think.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman is the blind man. The only Mel Brooks movie that Gene Hackman was in.
Yes.
Terry Garr.
Terry Garr. Yes.
Just a phenomenal Kenneth Mars again as Inspector Kemp.
Yes.
The is an ugly sink. Just brilliant. I wish I could see it in color, but I understand why he did it in black and white, and I understand why it's in black and white. It's I've seen pictures in color, and it just makes me want to see the whole thing in color. But that's me. I'm a guy that likes color.
Oh no, that would ruin it. The whole point is that it's poking fun. Again, another parody, poking fun at the Universal
monster movies.
Monsters, and they were all in black and white. And yes, this is a parody of Frankenstein, as the title kind of gives it away. Frankenstein. Also,
Richard Hayden plays the little character. I think his name is Hochstetter, where he comes in to tell young Frankenstein that he's inherited his father's mansion.
Yeah, the lawyer.
Again, the only time Richard Hayden had done a Mel Brooks film. Hayden is best known as Uncle Max in Sound of Music. Mm-hmm. He also played the caterpillar in Walt Disney's Alice in Wonderland. Who are you? And again, he just does this little character at the beginning of the film. And he does a delightful job with it. There's no comedy involved in his scene per se. I mean, except watching Wilder do his crazy stuff.
Yeah.
That could have been a Rudy DeLuca character, but I don't think he had come along yet. I don't think it wasn't until Silent Movie, I think, that Rudy DeLuca actually came on board. Feldman alone just makes the movie an absolute delight. Igor, please help me with these 2 bags. Sure, you take the blonde and I'll take the one in the toy bin.
It's pronounced Igor.
It's
in the village they told me it was Igor. Well, they were wrong, weren't they?
My grandfather used to work for your grandfather. Of course, the rates have gone up.
Yeah,
Abnormal.
Abby something. Abby normal. I put an abnormal brain in.
Are you telling me that I put an abnormal brain in the body of a 6-foot Hulk beast? Whatever, 7 foot. Look at this boy. Put on the red.
What I was gonna say was since you brought that, since you did that. Originally, Brooks wanted to cut the dance scene. He didn't want it in there. And Wilder, it was Gene Wilder. I mean, they almost got into a fist fight over that scene. Wilder wanted it in there. He thought, no, this has to be in there. And Brooks was like, no. And so, I mean, it almost caused a rift in their friendship. But eventually, Wilder won out. They shot the scene. And Brooks.
This movie did cause a rift in their friendship.
Yeah.
Working together on this and writing it and kind of co-directing it.
Yeah.
Did cause a rift in their relationship. I mean, they never worked together again, did they? I mean, as far as
I don't think so. Yeah, that was
well,
that was one of them. That was one of the, I'm sure of many reasons, but yeah, they
are. It says that Mel Brooks did a voice in Sherlock Holmes' smarter brother later, but and again, that's got a lot of the same character actors in the movie,
right?
But yeah, they never did a full out movie together again. They their separate ways.
Yeah.
Okay. So producers, High Anxiety, Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein. Okay, let's talk about the wild card now.
Mine is, I don't know if it's a wild card, but one of my list is Spaceballs. Another great parody, Star Wars parody. Rick Moranis again. John Candy's in this as the Mog. Mel Brooks plays a little Yoda type character, Yogurt. Bill William.
Actually, he plays a character in all of his movies, but he
does. Yeah, he.
Yeah, as Spaceballs is probably my number 5 too.
Which one?
I said as silly as Spaceballs is. It's probably my 5 too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because History of the World is funny, but it just doesn't stack up to the rest of them.
Yeah.
12 Chairs is a very good movie.
I've never seen it. I've never seen. I think all Mel Brooks movies.
Talk about that then.
12 Chairs.
The comedy is not as broad as the other Mel Brooks films.
Mm-hmm.
It's more social commentary, I think. Brooks plays a character in it as usual. He plays one of the working class. Ron Moody is the lead in it with Frank Langella. Frank Langella does an amazing part in the movie, but he's not doing comedy like broad physical comedy shtick.
Right.
It's more cerebral comedy. And the fact that he never worked with Brooks again probably means that Brooks probably didn't get exactly what he wanted.
Right. Yeah.
But again, it's an amazing performance by Langella.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty funny movie. Dom DeLuise is in it, who is another one that Brooks loves to work with.
Yeah.
He's the most comedic force in the film. Moody has some funny bits in it where he plays against type, where he's trying to play against the aristocratic. and again, they're chasing after 12 chairs that have family jewels sewn into the cushions. They have to find 12 chairs, and the chairs have been kind of mixed up and put in different places, and so it's kind of a chase. It's kind of like it's a mad world kind of thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Searching, Yeah, and ironically, Rudy DeLuca wrote $1 Million Mystery, which was another one of those mad world kind of films. It was full of
right, yeah.
And so, but it just tanked to the box office, and it's just a nasty stain on his career at this point. I don't even think he probably wants to talk about it. But again, a great cast. He had all of the comedians at the time: Rich Hall, Rick Overton, Kevin Pollak. There's a lot of good talent in the movie. Mac and Jay were in it, but it just didn't connect. The audiences just didn't connect with the comedy or the story in the films.
Right. Yeah.
In any case, I haven't seen it because I heard that it's just not that funny.
Yeah. I think I saw it, but it must not be very, very memorable. I mean,
Life Stinks.
Life Stinks. Yeah. I guess one of my honorable mentions is Silent Movie.
Yes. Yeah. Silent Movie had some really fun, brilliant moments in it.
Yeah.
It's not completely silent. There's a lot of special sound effects that help get you through the shtick.
Yeah.
And Marcel Marceau, the world famous mime, says the only line in the movie.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna mention that. Yeah. Marcel Marceau.
And every time I watch the movie, I can't get that song out of my head for like weeks. Dun, 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 that song's in my head now for the next 2 weeks. I guarantee you I'll be humming that for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But they got Burt Reynolds, James Caan, Liza Minnelli. That's where Anne Bancroft and Mel Brooks became an item.
Oh, okay.
They met on the filming of that and decided, hey, this is fun. Let's keep this going.
Yeah. And they did like you mentioned, Life Stinks.
Our gal has come back on. She has something to say.
Yes, because we glossed over Spaceballs, and that's my favorite Mel Brooks movie. I love it. In fact, when I was growing up, that was my Star Wars. I actually was introduced to that first, and people hate when I tell them that, but I actually saw it before I saw Star Wars. In my mind, Star Wars is the parody of Spaceballs. I love everything about it. I have every line memorized. It is just phenomenal. And I don't know what it would be like if an adult was exposed to it, but me being exposed as a kid, it was just so cool and interesting. And I didn't get most of the jokes. I thought it was like more serious, than it really was.
Kids would love that movie, especially if they've seen Star Wars already. Yeah.
Fun. Yes, I just love everything.
Moranis was very funny in it. Bartholomew.
Barth.
John Candy.
Mm-hmm. Pizza the Hut. Is it Pizza the Hut? I'm curious.
Pizza the Hut. Dom DeLuise.
Yeah.
I can see your Schwartz. Yeah, Bob is reminding us. I can see your Schwartz is as big as mine. It's just so funny. It's just brilliant.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Yes, it is just so good. I love everything about it.
I'm a Mog.
I'm a Mog.
A man and a dog. I'm my own best friend.
It's so quotable. I think it's definitely the most quotable.
Yeah,
do you? Okay. Do you? All right. That's one of Mel Brooks's friends. He's done a lot of stuff in Mel Brooks, little bit parts and stuff. Can't remember his name offhand. Again, best preacher though is Peter Cook in The Princess Bride. Wow,
yes.
Love is what brings us together.
So good.
Sorry. Can't top that.
No.
What is love? So, actually, the ending of Spaceballs is phenomenal because they do a takeoff on Alien, where John Hurt gets a chest burst again.
Hello, baby, my right time, gal. It's just great. It's so fun. It makes an alien invading your body fun.
And then, Spaceballs ends up on a planet and they do a takeoff on the Planet of the Apes thing with the statue.
Well, there goes the neighborhood.
Oh shit! Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. Well, there goes the neighborhood. Your thoughts as good as mine. Yeah.
Why do all of us apes have British accents? Oh no. So yeah,
British actors.
No doubt.
It's just fun and it's stupid, but Mel Brooks is always stupid, you know. Like
when Spaceballs 1 turns into a Point Made.
His earlier films were not stupid.
Okay, his earlier films are not as stupid. Okay, that's true. Manny, what'd you say, Manny? I didn't hear you, man.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'd love to see, when the starship, the spaceship one, Spaceballs 1 turns into the maid with the vacuum cleaner, and they're gonna all the air, planet. Idiot. Funny, you don't look Jewish.
Dark Helmet.
Dark Helmet. So great. And it's just visually so fun too. They did all the costumes and it's very high, very entertaining. It's just very fast paced.
What's the guy's name? Richard something, the one who does the voice. He did all the voices in he was in the Police Academy movies. Yeah.
Oh, I know he does the sound effects.
Yes, Rory, I love that guy. Rory, that's your guy.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Oh my God.
You talk about him all the time.
Michael something.
Somebody Google it.
Oh,
you talk about it, you love him.
Yeah.
Well, he lives in this area.
We got to have him on the show.
I should know this. I asked him. He hasn't returned my.
He doesn't have time. He doesn't have time for us.
He's a busy man.
He's a very busy man.
Michael Richards is the guy from Seinfeld. I know that's who you're thinking. Michael
Richards is.
But it's Michael. Michael Winslow.
Yeah, Winslow. We talk about him all the time. He's like famous for us.
So sorry. Wow. I just had a brain fart there. Yeah. Again, he lives in the area. I know him. I know him very well. I mean, I know his work very well, but it just escaped me at this moment. You have those things when you get older,
Oh yeah.
Joan Rivers was the robot.
I love Joan Rivers in that. That was, oh gosh, she just nailed it.
Daphne Zuniga.
Who's the princess? Yeah.
Bill Pullman.
I was trying to remember that. Yeah, Bill Pullman. Lone Star.
Yeah.
The Ships of Winnebago. This is great. Just great little.
It's really good. And by the way, so Bob was saying, under the surface, there's always some hidden meaning in his productions. In Spaceballs, this is going to sound really goofy, guys, but there's that big moment when Mel Brooks himself talks about how the ring, I just got that in a Cracker Jack box, the force, it's within you, you have the power. And it's that whole Dumbo with the feather thing. And I think of that all the time in life, about the inner confidence. And it's from Spaceballs. That was the first time I heard that little bit of philosophy, but it stuck with me. And it's really true. And so there's some beautiful moments in it as well, even though it's goofy as all get out. But
so apparently
you saw when you were young that you really, really loved. So I totally get it. Love has stayed with you.
I adore it. Yeah. Don't you dare insult my Spaceballs.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
So
I'm not saying anything bad.
So he got permission. Brooks got permission from George Lucas to do that movie. And Lucas said, "Yeah, you're Mel Brooks. You can do that, but
a parody.
You can't sell any merchandise." Because then that would cross into, and that's why that scene where Yogurt opens up the shop and there's all this merchandise.
Yeah. Oh, I get it now. That's so funny.
And they, yes, and we've got the Spaceballs flamethrower. The kids love it.
I love that part. Okay, so that's the context of it. That's what's me with you. Yes.
So it was just a little dig
at
Lucas for that. Yeah.
Oh, that's really, really funny. I love that. Yeah, I always wondered what Lucas thought about it. You know, he had to have been really honored though that it
Yeah, no,
happened.
He's always very good about people doing parodies. He let Robot Chicken do a parody. He let the Family Guy did
Family Guy did. Yeah,
the three parodies of the three original movies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he loved them.
Wow.
He TiVoed those right away when they did that. So yeah, he's very good about that. He's real good natured.
That's awesome. So either of you guys finished watching History of the World Part 2 on Netflix?
I have not
It
yet.
started.
You haven't even started. Okay, I'm about halfway. I thought I'd be finished by today, but I haven't. But I'm almost done, and it's very Mel Brooks. I mean, Manny, what's your take on what you've seen so far?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't even watched it? It's very Mel Brooks. It's very stupid. It's very, just
Is it very Robin Hood Men in Tights?
not even to that level. I mean, it's not even there, but like it's like inching there. Yeah.
Do you remember?
He also did another one called When Things Were Rotten.
When Things Were Rotten. I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
When Things Were Rotten.
Mm-hmm.
Not. Yeah. I mean, yeah. The jokes were really just so obvious, so bad. I mean, they tried. They really tried to capture that Mel Brooksian style, but yeah.
Well, and they tried to do Black Bart too. That only lasted one show.
That's right. That's right.
With Lou Gossett Jr. playing Bart.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Real quick though, Brooks now is focusing, just like the Python crew, is focusing on turning his movies into musical plays now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I saw Young Frankenstein when I was in London with my daughter. I took my daughter to see it. She was about 15 at the time, 14 maybe. And it was very risque. I mean, they threw in a lot of really risque humor and songs. Frau Blucher sings a song about her boyfriend, and it's really racy.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, God, I brought my little daughter to see this.
Oh, you want to hear? Oh, you want to hear a story about? I have a story involving Young Frankenstein. I went to see Young Frankenstein at the theater, and I'm sitting there, and these two kids who couldn't have been more than 9 or 10, if that, were sitting next to me, and of course we get to the end of the movie where we find out, that Frankenstein, the monster, the creature.
What did he give to you?
Exactly. And then it's,
oh, I love it last I found you.
And, of course, all the adults, we're laughing because we get it. The kids are asking me, why? What was that funny? What
Why is everybody laughing?
Why is everybody laughing? I'm like, oh God. What do I say? He's tickling her, and she sings when he tickles her. Oh, okay. They didn't buy that for a second.
You explained it away.
But that was my explanation. I'm like, holy crap.
Smooth.
I'm like, where are your parents? Why are you in this movie? Oh, so yeah. That was quite
good, didn't you?
Yeah. And of course, they would have to sit next to me. I'm like, oh, no. How can I explain this without, getting arrested? So yeah, I told him that he was tickling her fancy.
Really. And Brooks has gone on to do a voice career, a voiceover career. He's playing Vlad in the Hotel Transylvania movies, Dracula's father. He's doing a lot of voices in different projects, different things.
Well, yeah.
Because he has a very distinct voice.
Yeah, he's got that. Even when he was doing, he was young man. Oh, and another little anecdote about Mel Brooks. I don't know if you remember this or know this. Do you remember a movie called, what was it called? My Favorite Year, I think?
Yeah.
And that was
My
about
favorite year.
my favorite year.
Peter
And
O'Toole.
Peter O'Toole, yes. And it was
John,
based
I
on a true story,
watched that a couple
based
weeks
on
ago.
Mel Brooks's when he was working with the show on the show of shows with
Shows with Sid Caesar.
Sid Caesar, yeah. And so there was an incident. Apparently, the actor that Peter O'Toole plays was actually, I believe, Richard Burton, and Mel Brooks.
It was Errol Flynn.
Or maybe, yeah.
I thought he was supposed to be Errol Flynn.
Errol Flynn, right, yeah. And Brooks had to corral him, just like the character in the movie had to corral Peter O'Toole, who was always going off on his own little adventures. Oh, great movie, but yeah,
well, movie, Academy Award-winning movie.
Yeah.
I think the best line of that was when he's in the restroom, but he's in the women's restroom.
Mm-hmm.
And the wardrobe mistress comes in and goes, "Hey, this is fillets." He goes, "So is this, ma'am, but every once in a while I have to run some water through it."
Exactly. Oh.
And yeah, I can't remember what they called the Sid Caesar character, but Joe Bologna played him in the movie.
Yeah.
Again, Rudy DeLuca wrote Transylvania 65000. Joe Bologna was in that as the Frankenstein kind of doctor character.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it all kind of ties up. They all kind of work together. And, yeah.
Hollywood is one big incestuous family.
Indeed. Mr. Peabody and Sherman was another one that he was Albert Einstein. Mel Brooks was Albert Einstein in that.
I can see that. Yep.
Let me tell you something.
And Mr. Sherman, my boy.
He was the Mad Hatter in Dora the Explorer.
Oh.
Dora does not rhyme with Explorer. I don't know why they... Brian Regan does a great bit about that. He's like, well, where did they come up with this show on the Kennedy compound? Come on, everybody. Dora the Explorer is on.
I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map.
That was the same show. Yes, the same comedy.
Yeah, I used to say,
I'm the map.
Some poor guy got hired to do that, and he's like, "Oh man, I got to come up with this song about this map. It's the last minute. What do I do? What do I do? I know. I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map."
Oh, and Meliphant Brooks. He's plays Meliphant Brooks in the Toy Story movies now. So again, the guy's 90 something. He's just going great guns. You gotta love that. You gotta love that.
Yeah.
And he certainly created some movies that
1,000. Maybe he will be the 1,000-year-old man.
There you go. A lion is eating my foot.
I wanted to say that Jonathan Duncan.
Cellophane is the best.
Oh, that was like, gosh, I didn't, this is the thing, Manny, is that now you're revealing to us all that you have all these, first of all, you have like stand-up capabilities, right, Rory? And then impersonations.
I'm going to be out of a job soon.
Yeah, you're edging Rory out, man. What's up with that?
He shaves his beard off and I'm done.
If Rory's out sick one day, it's poof.
I'm gone.
You're gone.
Can I come back? No? Okay.
No, we already have Manny. We already have Manny.
I've got layers. Like an onion. You mean you're stinky?
There was, I wanted to say that Jonathan Duncan, who's watching in Tasmania, he said it does rhyme in Australian lingo. You're talking about Dora the Explorer.
Dora the Explorer.
Oh, it's Dora the Explorer.
Might. Yeah.
That's what Dora the Explorer.
You call that a map?
Yeah. You call that a map? I love that. And he said, you guys are like encyclopedias of pop culture. Amazing. You guys really are. How do you, I wanted to ask both of you, since we're talking about Mel
I
Brooks.
couldn't remember Mike Winslow's name though.
Yeah, well, you know.
Damn it.
I
You
couldn't remember
can't
when
win
the
them
show
all,
started.
Rory.
So,
You can't win them all. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you both about your
In
introduction.
my
to
heyday,
Mel
though, man, I used to rattle off directors, producers,
Oh,
executive
me too.
producers. Man, I knew them all.
Oh,
No,
me
you
too.
still
Me
do.
too. You know, it's
You
funny. My test, just to make sure that I'm not losing it, is I try to rattle off all the actors who played James Bond and all the actors who played Doctor Who.
Do you start with Barry
yeah,
Nelson?
Doctor Who. Yeah.
I'm good.
Wow.
Barry Nelson, Sean Connery, George Lazenby, Roger Moore.
Now do Doctor Who.
Huh?
Now
Oh,
do
God, I
Doctor
got to
Who.
Doctor Who.
Yes.
Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton.
Pierce Brosnan finally got to do it.
Yeah.
There's a story in itself. Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. That's right.
And David Niven, Peter Sellers. Honorable mention.
Honorable mention. Yeah. Yeah.
But did you hear the first one that I did?
Barry Nelson.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. The American Bond.
IMAX
Jimmy
TV
Bond.
show. They did Casino Royale.
Right.
Jimmy Bond. He's an American agent, and Felix Leiter was the British agent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Played by Michael Pate, the British. Actually, he wasn't a British actor. He was just a character actor. He could do voices. Anyway,
I had to ask you guys this question before we go. I wanted to ask you this question. What was your introduction? So my introduction to Mel Brooks, as we know, is Spaceballs. Okay. What was both of y'all's introduction to Mel Brooks, and did you like it, or how did that happen for you guys?
I'm gonna let you go first.
My introduction was Blazing Saddles. That was the first one I saw, and I've never seen anything like it. I felt like those two kids that I was talking about earlier. It's like, what's happening? Why is everybody laughing? Then I saw it again, then I appreciated the humor, and it's like, oh, okay, now I get it. Well, I'm working for Mel Brooks.
Not in the face.
Not in the face. Doing the French mistake. Anyway, Rory.
He's hurting Cecil. My introduction to Mel Brooks, I was young, I was a kid. It was the producers, and I had no idea what the hell was going on in that movie. Yeah. It was just so weird to me. So I didn't enjoy it the first time I saw it. I mean, I enjoyed some of it because it was, physical comedy stuff, but I didn't quite get it at that time. So I wish Blazing Saddles had been my introduction to Mel Brooks. But I watched it later and I was like, this is really funny. This is a very funny, brilliant movie. Mm-hmm. And I think after that, I saw Silent Movie in the movie theater.
Yeah.
And that was fun. It was a fun movie. So just the Burt Reynolds scene alone.
And then you just both became Mel Brooks fans. Just after that, you just started tracking down all these movies.
By the time I saw Young Frankenstein, that was it for me. And I started looking for anything I could find. He did.
Exactly. So I'm gonna have to track down 12 Chairs just to be a completist.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what you think of Langella's performance in that.
I know he's usually seen as a serious actor. Although after seeing him in playing Skeletor in He-Man, I don't know if that's true anymore. Although I loved his Dracula. I loved his Dracula. That's one of my favorite Dracula movies.
He plays a great villain. He really does. He plays a good villain. He's the original Salieri from Broadway.
Amadeus. Before F. Murray Abraham.
F. Murray Abraham's got it in the movie.
Yeah. Okay.
I love him.
Langella's kind of a method actor, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a diehard method actor, but I think he's very he's very opinionated about his own performance, and I think he butts heads with directors because they have one way of looking at it. And he goes, no, well, this is the way I'm playing it. And this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm playing. That's my feeling. That's just what I've seen and what I've read. I've just kind of put 2 and 2 together, and I think that's what it is.
Yeah. I still would have loved to see, He-Man 2 with him returning. But that never happened.
Talking about working on another He-Man, a reboot, with new people, not Dolph Lundgren. But I think even with that, he wanted his face to show through on the makeup.
Yeah, well, you can see his eyes through the but still a great performance. But
you know what? I think Skeletor. I think Skeletor has a high voice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bring me He-Man.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the scary villain with that voice. I can't take that voice seriously.
Yes, He-Man. Now you shall be.
No, that's not the voice of a villain.
So you don't want the Steven Berkoff voice.
You should be worried about how you're getting out of here alive.
Octopussy.
Yeah.
We got to talk Bond one of these. Oh, well, actually, that's 2 or 3 shows, I think.
Yeah.
The next time we get together next week, next Monday, we're going to be talking about one of Manny's favorite people in films, Machete. Danny Trejo.
Yeah. Actually met the man in person once.
So, and yes, he showed us a picture last week of him with Danny Trejo, and I said, we got to do a show on Danny Trejo then.
We've got to do it. He's such a badass. I love everything about him, everything he's in. He's such an amazing, convincing, compelling actor. I would be afraid to be near him, though. Were you afraid, Manny? I would be afraid he was going to do something.
No, he's super. No, he's a great guy.
I'm told he's a sweetheart off screen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
definitely funny.
Yeah, we'll talk about Trejo next.
When you think about what a badass he is on screen, it's very funny.
Yeah.
So let's save all that for next time.
All right.
Save all that. It's hard though.
Way over.
Get over
What have
Danny
we learned
Trejo.
today, kids?
We gotta wait a whole week for Danny Trejo. Boy, it's gonna be hard to narrow. He's been in everything now.
I know, right?
If you go to IMDb, if you go to his IMDb, it's like
I'll see a movie and it's like
Spy
wait,
Kids, Machete.
Yeah, it's more than Machete. And,
Well, that started out as a gag. That was a trailer that we created for
trailer in one of
we saved this for next week.
Okay, we gotta save it for next week. We're getting Trejo'd out. Trejo'd out.
Yeah, can't do that. All right, so what have we learned today, kids?
Julio said Danny Trejo delivered a baby. He is such a sweetheart.
See, there you go.
I would believe that. I actually really
but
believe
delivered him to who, though?
Push.
Bring me the head of Alfredo Garcia. No, wait.
Push.
We have, and we do have a request for one day a De Niro show. Jonathan Duncan is asking.
We can do that. We can do that a little bit. We can do that.
You can do that. That's not a problem.
I think we just did it.
Oh, you think I can milk a cat? You think I can milk a little cat?
Can we throw a little Joe Pesci in there? Can we do that? Can we do it?
What am I, clown to you?
Look, I got my Martin Scorsese glasses on. So, I gotta get the Martin Scorsese, too.
Okay.
We can do all the Goodfellas.
Yeah.
So will you tell a story?
What, am I funny? What do you mean funny? What are you talking about?
And so we've
There's
learned
like a 3-second delay between my jokes and you guys.
It's because
I'm seeing you staring at me blankly for like 3 seconds. Oh my God, it's not funny. And then you laugh.
No, we're trying to process the brilliance. We're trying to process. It's very funny.
And there we go. We get the laugh from John Duncan about 5 seconds later.
We have a 7-second delay. It's television. Come on. 7-second delay.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying here.
Tough crowd.
dying over here. I'm walking. Okay.
All right.
We'll be here all night. So
we'll be here all night.
We'll wrap this puppy up.
Tell Tom Cheshire we went 10 minutes overtime.
He'll be so excited. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.